Hello, hello, hello.
Ooh, this is going to be a good crowd today. Love it. Of course, it's Sunday and it's Master's Mind. So, yes,
There you
uh,
go.
that has a lot to do with it
Bingo,
right
bingo,
there.
bingo.
Yep, yep, yep. All right.
Mr. Tom Booth.
So glad to have you here, everybody. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start clearing the halls here so we can get things rolling. It's a couple of seconds before the top of the hour, so hang on, please.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
All righty, let's get this baby going. Hello, everybody. So great to see each and every one of you. Happy Sunday. And of course, when it's Sunday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, or whatever time it happens to be where you are because you are watching us right now, it's time for The Master's Mind. And we're going to give a great way to end the previous week and start the new week with a really nice message. And of course, with us to share that message is a dear friend of ours. He is our GPS to success. He is our mentor. He is our mastermind. So go ahead, open up your minds because mind is like a parachute. It only works when it's open. And let's give it up for Mr. and Mrs. Robert Hollis.
Thank you, Craig. The hostess with the most is the best for sure. And I like to acknowledge a few people: Dustin and Mike, Melody, Matthew, and Hannah and Ezra. We got Mary, Mike, and Angela. Michael and Angela. Hi, Deborah. Nice to see you on camera. Tom, great to see you. Bill Shoemaker, Charles, the birthday boy, Lisa Marie, and then Coach Bob, and of course my lovely wife Terry. So today on Master's Mind, for those of you that haven't been on here before, I always say this so they know what it is. But you know, when I'm talking about a master's mind, it's a bunch of people together that are all basically focused on one thing. And my deal is to help people through my example and my witness on, me being connected to God and Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. And I just wanted to share with each and every one of you that throughout my relationship is I think that today I want to talk to you just very quickly about prayer. All right, just how simple prayer is. And the reason that I believe that, not a reason, I know a lot of people. It's funny. I just asked Terry a simple question as I asked her, how much does she pray? And she's like, how many people think that's a nice, honest answer? It's like, yeah, yeah, you just got to be brutally honest. And hi, Sarah. Hi, Shelley. And let me tell you what I think or why I sometimes haven't prayed. Because in my mind, if I feel got that Dino in my mind, rah, 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 and if I have that thought in my mind or a number of thoughts in my mind that I'm not doing it correctly, then if you're not praying correctly, then why would you pray? It's like, it's a hi, Donald. Thanks for jumping on here. Hi, Sandy. And so a lot of people I know do that. We beat ourselves up so much that we go, well, it's sort of embarrassing if the master, the creator of all things, and then I'm basically don't know how to pray and this is the great creator and I don't know how to pray and I'm praying wrong, then why bother? Would anybody admit that that's probably one of the biggest reasons they don't pray? It's like, here's another one is we already know the beating up of ourselves saying that I'm not enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not deserving. I'm not in the mentality of even, in a place of receiving. You know what I mean? So again, if we have all these things that are beating us up and we know we were probably doing it wrong, and we all look at this as a constant thing of us disappointing, just being a disappointment, then that's where it's always going to be. And so, what I want to share with all of you guys is a really good story that I read in the Bible. And hi, Sarah. Thanks for jumping on here. Hi, Faith. Is that we all know the story about the crucifixion. When the Romans decided to kill Jesus, right? And in the story, if you read about it, it was constantly them always trying to get him to say that he did something wrong when he would never ever say anything. They would just come up to him and say, you say you're God. You know what I mean? And he's going, so tell us that you're God. And he's like, you've already made up your mind. You've already made up your mind who you think I am. And so if you want to crucify me, just get after it. And so in the Bible, when it talks about they do crucify him, I know that some of you have always all seen the image of three crosses there, right? And there's two individuals that are also being crucified. Now, bottom line, not to get down, but these two, it never really says what they did. They were just bad hombres. You know what I mean? To get crucified, you had to be a bad criminal. So it didn't really say what they did, if they were murderers or what they were. But it was pretty interesting that they were already on the crosses and hung up in crucifixion. And then they were brought up, of course, Jesus. And it's funny that one of them mocked him. I'll say, hi, Jane. Hi, Dr. Megalula. And the first one was like, oh, I heard about you. If you're God, why don't you take you and me off the cross? Why don't you just yell out to your father and go, hey, Dad, get me off of here. Now, of course, I'm doing it in Robert's language. You know what I mean? And it's like, but it's like, it was like mocking. So, you're supposed to be all this in a bag of chips, but you're hanging up here next to me. You know what I mean? So you can't be all that if you're in the same dang place I am. And then he even mocked him further by saying, you're in the same place I am, and you didn't do anything wrong. At least I was a criminal, and I did some stuff, right? So, but then the person on the other side, just very simply just said, I believe, and please forgive me. I believe, and please forgive me. And if you know the story, he very simply said, you're going with me. So I heard this story, and it was funny because I found another pastor that actually told the story about it. And see, what we do as human beings is constantly beat ourselves up, always say we're not doing it right. We're not doing it long enough. We're not doing this right. We're not doing this right. Hi, Deborah. We're all saying, all this stuff that we're messing up on, right? And this guy was talking about, how many of you through your years have always heard that people die and then they're at the pearly gates and there's this funny story that always happens, right? To make light of this subject, I thought I would tell you guys a neat little story that I heard. And it's about a guy that he shows up at the pearly gates, whatever you want to say, and he says, hey, what you need to do is you need to sign this contract before you can go into heaven. And the guy goes, what? And he said, listen, God gave you free will. So you got to sign the contract saying that that's where you want to go. And he said, really? I didn't even know I had a choice. And he goes, well, look on the back of the contract. So he flips over the contract and, he does have the choice to go to hell if he wants to. And he's going, listen, I can't really make a decision if I haven't seen it. I don't know what it is. And the guy goes, well, Peter, whoever says, well, people normally don't ask to see that, but I guess if you want to. So they go over to an elevator and it's got, dust and cobwebs all over it. And he presses a button and they go in and it seems like it takes forever to go down. And when it finally gets to the bottom and it opens up, it's like the most incredible looking people you've ever seen in your life. and they're all partying. Man, they are having a blast. And the guy was like, walks up to him, gives him a drink, and he's like, and he's going, no, listen, you get the positive effects of drinking, but you don't get any hangovers or nothing. You just get it high and excited, and you get that little part of you that's liquid courage. And he's going, okay. And then all of a sudden, these good-looking women are coming up and telling him he can do the same thing with drugs. And all of a sudden, he's just partying like no other, right? Then the guy finally taps on his shoulder and he says, hey, listen, we got to go. Regardless of what you're doing, we got to sign the contract. And so, hi, Corky, thanks for being on here. And the next step that ended up happening is they go to the top, and then he goes through, sign the contract, and he says, to be brutally honest, harps and clouds and, all this stuff, I'm sure it's nice, but those were like my people down there. You know what I mean? And he says, so I'm sorry, I'm going to sign the contract to go, down there. He goes, okay, you got free will. So they go back down in the elevator and it opens it up and he kicks the guy out and there's nothing but just coals and flames and hands him a pitchfork and everyone's screaming and crying and everyone's burning. And he's like, wait a minute, what happened to the party? What happened to all the good stuff that was happening here? And the guy says, oh, you were down here during the opportunity meeting. So I don't know if you guys ever heard that, but I actually heard that from my mentor 39 years ago after I got involved in network marketing. And he tells that story, and I'm like, wow, because they make the opportunity seem really, really good, don't they? And now all of a sudden you got to start doing something, and it's like, hey, right? So with that, as far as a concept of prayer, I just want each and every one of you to know that this was the other story that I heard. So imagine people going up to the pearly gates. Again, use your imagination. And there's just one question that's asked, just one, is what has happened? I had to get the question right. What has happened for you to deserve to come into heaven? And if you use anything that has to do with first person or the letter I, you'll get this in a second. It's like, well, I pray, I'm a good person, I do nice things, I read the Bible, I go to church. Anything that's first person that you use the word I with is not how you get in. Because going back to the story of the two criminals on the other side of him, can you imagine that person being one of the people? So people will go, I did all these things, and I did this, and I did this, and I did this. Now imagine that one criminal, that thief, that just very simply looked at Jesus and said, I believe in you. And he's like, okay, you're forgiven, you're going with me. So imagine him at the pearly gate, and they start drilling him with questions. It's like, do you go to Bible study? Nope. Do you go to church? Nope. Do you pray? Nope. Do you do a daily devotional? Do you read the Bible? Nope. And they're going, so you've never done anything. Why do you get to go to heaven? And he said, because the guy on the middle cross said I could. The guy on the cross in the middle said I could. How many of you love that story? So I brought it up to you that when you're thinking about praying, I'm going to talk to you about 4 different aspects of prayer, but you can't pray wrong. Can you guys make yourself a note? You can't pray wrong. All you can do is, I've been saying it for months now, is he's given us free will and we have to ask. So the one thing that you need to do in prayer, whether, I personally, this doesn't make me any better than anyone, but I personally, because I'm so grateful, I do get on my knees. It's just what I do. And if it's not outside, it's usually in a picture window. And I usually always like in front of sun, right? And the first part of it, and I'll show you guys this graphic quick, and then you guys can take a picture of it or whatever. But I know that Craig will get really good at posting it as well. But I'll make sure you get this as too. So recognition, alignment, surrender, and persistence. So the first thing that I do to get aligned, which is the second part, is how, that's why this book made such a difference in my life. And again, thank you, Mary. I get to say that all the time. Is because the greatest miracle in the world makes you understand, are you really grateful for your eyesight? Are you grateful that you can hear people? Are you grateful that you can taste and smell? Are you grateful that you actually can feel touch? You see what I mean? And it's like, when you really think about gratefulness, it's like, it blows me away, because for me, I do spend quite a bit of time here. To think that there's like 400 trillion and one chance that you're actually alive at this time, at this moment. So a lot of people, I don't think, take the time to say, man, thank you for another day. Thank you that I'm alive. And there's a bunch of stuff that I've heard that's always powerful, is that, do you know there's people in the world every day that pray for your lifestyle? If you just thought of that, I don't remember the phrase, but, if you ate today and you had a roof over your head, it doesn't take much where there's a large part of the world that doesn't have that. They're not going to eat today or tomorrow. And they're not going to feel safe. They're not going to have a roof over their head. So the first part of recognition and prayer for me is just, thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. And a lot of success books talk about writing down a few things that you're grateful for every morning and every night. So you really can get into alignment when you're just grateful for everything, grateful for people in your life, grateful for, technology, being able to have a Zoom where I can talk to each and every one of you and build my relationship with you. There's so many things that we can be grateful for. And if you just spend a little time doing that every day, like I've shared in the past, with just being disciplined, trying to do a push-up a day. No, don't try, do. But if you just spend a little time, don't have to get on your knees, don't have to fold your hands. Just, I don't know, maybe you can look up, but just take a moment to be grateful. Does that make sense to y'all? And I guarantee if you do it a little bit, you're gonna get into a pattern of it, right? The next part actually comes to the part which is alignment. Now, if you keep being thankful and grateful, pretty soon you're going to feel this place of peace. You're actually going to smile, because as you consistently, I thank you for this, thank you for my wife, thank you for my sons, thank you for my grandchildren, thank you for, meeting all my needs according to your riches and glory. Thank you for the universe. Thank you for the food, water, and air. You just can go off on all kinds of stuff. Thank you for unlimited wisdom. Thank you for all the people that are part of the unlimited wisdom family. And finally, you'll get to a point where you're going to feel peaceful. You're going to feel gratitude. Talking about gratitude is one thing, but feeling gratitude is another. Have any of you ever had someone that did something nice for you? And when you thanked them for doing something nice for you, how did you feel? You know, when you genuinely say to someone, man, I really appreciate you doing that. You know, thank you very much for doing that. And so that's where alignment comes from. And in alignment is when that's when you can, get to a point of just being quiet, just get into peace and allow the quietness to come on you and just set in it, just set in its presence throughout the entire scriptures in the gospel of Jesus Christ. It constantly talked about when Jesus felt like things were not going well, that he would just look at his disciples and say, I'm out of here. And he would just go spend time praying. And it's hilarious that throughout the stories that when Jesus, before he got crucified, he would actually ask his disciples, he said, listen, would you pray for me? And they're like, yeah. And so they all started praying. And it says in the Gospels that I don't know how long, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something, they were done. And he's like, hey, there's some really serious stuff coming. And all you can give me is a couple of minutes? These are people that hung out with him. So stop beating yourself up, because this is what other people do, is as you're in that quietness or in that alignment, how many of you just have the 15 other voices in your mind that are like nailing you, right? And it's like, oh, don't forget to do this. What about this? And brutally honest as I can be with you guys, not only do I have those thoughts, but then I have some unpleasant thoughts. Like I'm going, oh my God, really, seriously, I said that. Oh my God. I'm like in recognition, I'm in gratitude, I'm in a quiet place, and I don't have really good thoughts, like pretty awful thoughts. That's when I realize that the voices of Darth Vader and all these other things are going to attract to get me going, listen, you just were grateful and you're praying and you're being quiet and now you're having these awful thoughts. See how awful of a person you are? So you just got done doing a little bit of prayer for a minute or so, and now you're thinking about hurting somebody or killing somebody. It's like, understand that these other voices are really, really good at making you feel like you shouldn't do this. Does that make sense? So just be aware of it, because it says in the Bible that he's there, the adversary is there to steal it immediately, not tomorrow. So as soon as you get in a grateful spot, as soon as you get in a quiet spot and just be aligned, then you're going to get bombarded with all kinds of stuff to just say how stupid and unworthy you are. But I shared this story with you because it's not anything that you do. Listen closely. It's not anything that you do to deserve it or earn it. You didn't do anything wrong, and you don't have to do anything right to deserve this time. Does that make sense to you guys? Because it's like, well, I haven't tithed enough and I don't go to church. And it's like you got to get rid of all of that stuff. And me personally, I just open up my mouth. I have stupid thoughts and I go, listen, that's not true. That's a lie. I don't believe in those lies. Greater is he that is in me than he is in the world. I just constantly listen to, like Washed by the Word and stuff like that, worship music in the morning, because then that's playing throughout my head all day. So if you guys know, I get up in the morning, and as soon as I get up and make some coffee, then I sit on the couch and I put my headphones on and I'm listening to 3 or 4 songs that are all my favorite worship songs. And because I listen to those all day long, those are playing in my head when I'm quiet. They're just constantly playing in my head. Now, doesn't it say somewhere in the scriptures that you should be meditating and praying all day long? That's what I believe. So I'm thinking, how could I pray all day long? Having a song that gets in your head that you're playing in your head all the time. So when you're not thinking, you're singing, but the song is playing and you're not saying anything, right? So the third part is the concept of surrender. Now, you guys have heard me say this over and over again, but when you really take your actions out of it and you're not beating yourself up because you're not doing something right or you're doing something wrong, this is where we really get messed up. The reasons that all of you don't do the things that you know you should do is because you don't believe you're doing it right, or you think you're doing something wrong, or maybe both of them running at the same dang time in your head. It's like, I don't want to do any posts. I don't want to reach out to people. I don't want to do a live video. I don't want to do anything because of what other people think, or I'm going to be doing something wrong. I don't want to get in trouble, or I don't know how to do it correctly. Maybe I do it wrong. These are exactly the same reasons you don't do what you want to do and you're supposed to do each and every day is the same reason you don't pray. Did that hit any of you? It's like, because it's like, what if you couldn't do anything wrong? Isn't that one of the biggest success statements in the world? If you knew you would not fail, there's no way that you could fail, what would you attempt? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? It's like, man, I got a whole list of everything that I would do. All right. And then the last one, of course, is persistence. I'll show it quickly again so you guys have it. And this is a statement that this will go over and over and over again. If every one of you can create a habit of just doing it for a short amount of time and try to do it at the same time every day. So if you could just have an alarm that went off, and in that alarm that went off, if you could do an acknowledgement, a short piece of quietness, sort of surrender, I'm nothing, I'm going to ask you to do this for me. I'm not going to do this. You told me all these things that I'm worrying about. I'll just give them to you. I'm going to ask you to lead me, and I'm going to just follow. I'm just going to surrender all and just follow. Terry and I watched what is it, Gillihan, was it? The movie we watched like it's last night, Covenant.
I think that's what it was called. Not 100%.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Terry and I watched a deal about the Afghanistan war, and this guy Gillihan was in it, and it was called Jake Gyllenhaal, and it was called The Covenant
On Netflix.
On Netflix, and why it was so powerful is this guy had a translator that was part of Hamas. And the guy asked him straight out, why is he working for us now? And he says, well, he was one of the top guys of Hamas and they killed his son. So this guy's got a little bit of an axe to grind, right? And so, without giving the whole story away, you just see this guy save this American lieutenant and his team over and over and over again. Even though people say they should do something, he's like, nah.
Doesn't feel right.
Nah, that. And so he goes, listen, you're a translator. And he goes, no, I'm an interpreter. And the guy's going like, why should I trust you? And he goes, because I don't want to die. And that strong is like, they're telling him to go in this area. And he's like, listen, we go there, we're going to die. And so finally he overrid him. And he's going, this is not right. And he goes, listen, we're taking this out. We're doing this. And it doesn't end well. And so now they're 120 miles away from the base. And he gets shot numerous times. And then he drags his ass all the way back to the American camp.
The interpreter does.
The interpreter does. And like over mountains and everything. And his wife kept asking him why he was doing it. And he said, because they told me if I would, that I would get a visa for you and my new son. And we get to go to the United States. And so now he gets home. He's in such bad shape that he's like in a coma for a month. And then he wakes up and they're fixing him. And he's like, hey, did you get that guy a visa? Did you get him and his wife and his kid a visa? And they're like, we don't even know where he is. And now the real story. It's like this guy just spends everything he has, including mortgaging his home, to go back to Afghanistan to rescue this guy that saved his life. And it's like,
True story. True story.
yeah,
It's a
true story. So, you know, they even got pictures of him at the end. And so, you know, and I just think the word covenant was such a powerful, because when someone believes, they do stuff that average people won't do. Haven't you guys heard that your whole entire life? The reason that I'm successful is because I'm willing to do stuff that other people won't. And I do it every day, and I do it all day. And I'm going like, man, if all I did was be grateful, get in alignment, surrender and ask, and do it persistently every day, as much as I can, not beating myself up, then all I'm doing every day is reaching out to people, because I know a lot of people right now need hope. They need encouragement. They need to be told that they're not a frickin' loser. They need to be taught that, you know, their efforts are enough. How many of you really honestly feel multiple times that I'm just not enough? I don't do enough. I'm a procrastinator. I'm a loser. I keep finding excuses. You know, it's like, here's the thing that I think that the world needs more than anything. All those awful thoughts that we have about ourselves, that we think we're the only ones that have those thoughts. Everyone, or every person's having the same frickin' thoughts. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe I'll never learn to do this. Why does everyone tell me no? You know, yeah, they want to work with Robert, but they don't want to work with me. All this BS that we have in our heads that constantly puts us in a state of not being thankful and grateful. Once we get there, stay in alignment, surrender, ask, and every day, just ask. Every day, all day, just each and every day, just do our best. Because the thing that I'll leave you guys with that I think is so powerful is that when I got involved in this, and I read this book, The Greatest Miracle in the World, is I'm one of those guys, and maybe this makes me unique. I know that it says proclaim your uniqueness. I know this. If there's a gift that I have, I would say that I'm not intelligent enough to think that it will fail. Did you guys catch on to that? I don't know if I personally don't have the thoughts that if I'm persistent, the thought that I just had is, moving a bunch of rocks. Terry and I watched some deal, and just for them being mean to the girls, they would go out and say, grab all these rocks and just move them over there. Everybody knew that that was the punishment, is that you just go get the rocks, you pick the rocks up, you take them up the hill, and you put them up there, and you got to move the whole deal. I'm the kind of person that just knows that if I do the small and little things every day the best that I can, that over a week's time, over a month's time, and things keep happening for me. Like I shared with the people yesterday, and they ask us anything. We got this big, giant, huge box from Immunitech. And I opened the box up, and there's 19 boxes of Immunical in this giant box. And one shake cup, right? One shake cup. So the first thing that I do is I look at the order form, and it shows them, but there's no cost to it. And so then I go in the Immunitech back office and see it, and it's back there, and there's no cost to it. It just says 0. So I reach out to Mike, the president of the company, and I go, I got a box today with, 19 Immunicals in it, blue boxes, and a shaker cup. And he's like, really? And you didn't pay for it? And I said, no. And he said, let me check. And he goes, oh, we had a promotion going on in November and December, and that if you brought in 3 customers or 3 consultants or a combination of those, you would get a free box of Immunical. And he says, so if you got 19 of them, you must have brought in like 57 people. And I went, no, I think it was closer to 61. But that's the kind of stuff that always happens to me because I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing. It's cool that you do things and then all of a sudden you get rewarded more than you thought you were going to get rewarded, right? So all of a sudden Terry gets a $1,600 check, and the reason for it is not only did she get a silver bonus, but also a gold bonus. So when you are persistent and you do the little things each and every day, and I even thought if all I did every day was make people smile, give them hope, give them encouragement, because here's something that people don't realize is I consistently look at me, and because I'm good at beating myself up, that's why I know that each and every one of you could be living a different life. Because I know where I came from. Do you guys get that? I know where I came from. I know what I did, and now where I am. And all I did was, well, if I can just pray a little every day and give thanks and be in alignment and start to stop trying to do this stuff on my own and actually ask God to do it for me and really surrender and give it up and just do as much as I can every day, then why wouldn't this work for me? Do you guys think that way? Because you should. You should. Every time you started thinking and not feeling right, then you just need to get back into the presence. You just need to get back into alignment. So I believe in you. I know that you can do it. Now we just got to get you to believe it, right? So if someone asked you, just that simple thing. If you could do anything that you wanted to, and you wouldn't fail, what would you do? because I imagine that stuff all the time. Every day I'm imagining platinum. Every day I'm imagining senior platinum. Every day I'm imagining 10,000 people in unlimited wisdom. And then I'll think 100,000. And then I'll think 500,000. You know, and it's like, it's just constantly, each and every day, knowing that if I do a little bit, it'll change. Just like getting this plaque. You know, so you guys were all around me when we all said, listen, we're going to go get this plaque from YouTube. You only need, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. And it's like, now I think we're close to 150. So I love and appreciate each and every one of you. You have anything to say?
Oh, me and Kelly are doing our first podcast today. Woo!
At 2:00?
No, 3:00, but I think it's just going to be recorded, our first one, and then
Oh,
since we haven't done any.
okay.
This is our first one, so we're going to give it a whirl at 3:00.
How many of you have done your own personal podcast? Sandy, Craig. I'm proud of her. Just do it, right? So I love and appreciate you guys. Have a great, great, great Sunday. For those of you that are football fans, I'm sorry that your team's not going to win. Hey, it's pretty easy. I know there's a lot of teams and only one team's going to win. So, pretty much most people are going to be upset, I guess, because football's really important. You know what I mean? I love you guys. Craig, we'll turn it over to you.
All right. Wow. What a great message. I hope everybody got something out of that. And yeah, this is why it is the master's mind. Robert's downloads, sharing to us to start the week or to end the previous week. Doesn't matter whichever way you look at it, it's there. And love it. Robert, bless you. And Terry, thank you so very much for sharing with us. Okay, the week just up ahead, because we have things every single day, live events here on Unlimited Wisdom. Tomorrow, starting at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, Recess! It's an open forum where we just talk about whatever happens to be going on at that moment. It doesn't matter what it is, but we just chat. Think of it maybe like a coffee hour or something like that. But that's what we call it, is Recess. So please join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. It's open to everybody. Also open to everybody are Daily Wisdoms, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. On Thursday, we have Breakthroughs. Breakthroughs are a premium product, and that's where we get a little more one-on-one, and we get to try to help you get to the next level. Thursdays, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Saturdays, as yesterday we had, Ask Us Anything. Whatever you want. You ask anybody in the community. We had a great Ask Us Anything yesterday where a lot of people were involved with a lot of different things. So that's, and of course, reason why it's called Unlimited Wisdom. We help you get to move on to the next level. Can't forget about Fridays, the Imagination Hour with Matthew Hollis. What a great way to learn AI and other things about the internet.
Matt was on fire on Friday.
Yes. So Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, and that's a premium. So please join us. And then we're right back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern for, of course, our Master's Mind. So thank you all very much for joining us today and taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. If you want, there are a few things in the chat. If you want to save the chat, please click on the three dots in the meeting chat next to where the title is, where it says Master's Mind, and then click Save Chat. It will download to your computer once we finish. And that is that for today. Thank you all very much. Be good to yourselves. Be cash. Bye-bye. I'm going to go ahead and ask everyone to unmute so we can all say so long and have a fantabulous Sunday.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much, you guys.
Bye, Shelley.
Thank you,
Courtney.
Robert.
Bye. Thank you.
Dr. Deborah.
Thank you, Robert, Terry, and Craig, and
Faith,
everybody.
Melody, Dustin.
Love you
Happy
guys.
Sunday.
Deborah.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Charles.
Blessed
Thanks,
day,
Sarah.
everyone.
Love
Love
you all.
you.
Angela, Bill.
Bye.
Love you all. Thank you,
Coach
Robert,
Bob.
and Carrie,
you.
and Craig,
Bye.
and
Charles.
Love
everyone.
you.
Bye.
God
Bye.
bless. Bye bye.
Good luck.